A bombshell new report says a suspected Chinese spy targeted California politicians.
Axios reporting that Fong even wound up in romantic or sexual relationships with two Midwest mayors. It is a story straight out of a spy novel, alleging steaminess and skullduggery. But the biggest fish she targeted, according to Axios, California Congressman Eric Swalwell, a Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee.
So you're China. Just like how people are competitive, nations are also very competitive, with China taking the crown. And their eyes are set on the West. And in this competition of nation-states, in this struggle for power, intel and influence are the names of the game.
Intel is the name of the game, D. It's all about the intelligence.
If you can know what your opponent is gonna do next, if you can steer your opponent in the direction you want them to go in, you basically control the future. The throne is as good as yours without ever firing a bullet. So the question becomes, how do we get said intel and influence? There are many ways, but here's the problem. The most powerful people in the nations you're trying to topple are usually going to be the strongest supporters of the regime you're trying to subvert. They're going to be loyal, hard to crack, hard to spy on. They're going to have far too much to lose for them to betray their country. I'm a loyal patriot. I'm on my way to getting promoted, elected. Why would I ever screw things up, become a traitor, or open myself up to prison time? So if the logical side of their brain won't let them betray their country, we need to attack this problem from a more emotional, dirtier angle, if you catch my drift. And what is the Achilles heel of every man, rich or poor, powerful or weak? What is the one thing that man can't resist? Man's insatiable desire for women. I'll just leave it at that, wink wink. Yes, if we can use women to get powerful politicians under their spell, we can get the intel we need in the form of pillow talk, gossip, having easy access to their phone and laptop, and we'll be able to get the influence we need. Maybe you should do this, honey. Hey babe, what do you think about voting on this? We'll call these spies swallows, or ravens for their male counterparts. Beautiful, charismatic female spies, putting an exciting twist on the world's oldest profession. So who are these swallows? How do they work? Who do they target? What tactics do they use? All those juicy details are waiting for you in this video. But first, a segue to Bluehost, one of the best rated web hosting platforms out there that allows entrepreneurs, artists, and bloggers to take their website from startup to success. Pick from hundreds of free and premium themes, get some of the fastest load times and uptimes in the industry to help you rank higher in Google, and have the power to customize all the advanced features you might need that other services don't allow you to do, all in one beginner-friendly platform. And if you ever run into trouble, their legendary tech support is available via phone or live chat 24/7. With their one-click WordPress install, you can get up and running with your own WordPress site in no time. Get started with Bluehost right now for only $3.95 a month and receive a free website domain and SSL for a year by going to jake.yt/Bluehost with the link in the video description. Again, that's jake.yt/Bluehost with the link below.
The US-China relationship in many ways is significantly more complex than the US-Soviet or US-Russian relationship.
The West has grown weak, drunk on shopping and social media, torn apart by hatred between the races. And as a result, the world is in chaos.
A great man once said,
"Power is a lot like real estate. It's all about location, location, location. The closer you are to the source, the higher your property value."
So common sense would dictate that we should use our swallows to target the biggest, most powerful politicians right away. But like we mentioned earlier, the ones at the top are harder to access. They're already super suspicious of everyone around them, which makes our job that much harder. And on top of that, we don't need immediate results, immediate gratification like the West is addicted to. No, we're in this for the long run, so a better strategy, a more long-term strategy, is to get our foot in the door before the politician gets big and powerful. After all, today's mayors and city council members are tomorrow's governors, congressmen, senators. So we gotta sink our teeth in while they're young, up-and-coming, naive, idealistic. That's when they're most vulnerable. Take Christine Fong, for example, a suspected Chinese swallow.
She was targeting local politicians who were up and coming, who were going to be stars and maybe make it to the national level.
One of her biggest targets was Eric Swalwell, a politician that rose to prominence as one of the youngest members of Congress that was eventually assigned a seat on the subcommittee for CIA oversight within the Committee on Intelligence. A very information-influence-rich person to have in the bedroom. But it wasn't always like that. Christine Fang bagged him while Eric was just a puny city council member in California.
This story is an example of how deeply China is willing to go within local politics to try and understand and collect on and potentially influence US politics.
Potential targets could also be aides, staffers, and interns, those that are close to the source of power that are more vulnerable and naive. So now that we know who our target audience is, we can now figure out who we have to be in order to bed the target. Now obviously, our swallow has to be very, very attractive, or else what's the point? Another deal breaker is that they have to be naturally charismatic. We've all met those people in our lives. They make you smile, feel comfortable, they light up the room when they walk in. They're the life of the party, and are just really likable people with an attractive personality. That is very hard to fake, so they have to be charismatic. But there's more than just looks and charisma that make an effective swallow. If our target are up-and-coming politicians, they're gonna be ambitious, have standards, and they'll want to surround themselves with higher status people that can help them in their climb to power. That's why the best, most ideal swallows are educated, they attended the top universities, and of course speak perfect English. How do you find these ideal women? Well, there are a lot of true believers in the Chinese Communist cause. There are also a lot of ambitious, self-interested people that want to climb the ranks of the Chinese Communist cause. The tricky part is that you gotta find the motivated women that are also attractive, that are also charismatic, that are also able to operate under pressure behind what they perceive to be enemy lines, and you gotta find them when they're young and send them to American schools to assimilate them. And if you found the perfect candidate but they don't want to do this line of work, well, that's the beauty of being an authoritarian regime. You have lots of leverage over your servants. So now that we have our ideal targets and our ideal swallows, it's time for these two lovers to meet. Back in the Soviet Union days, the KGB would have to put in a lot of effort into planning out coincidences where a foreign leader would magically run into a beautiful blonde Russian woman at an event or bar. One operation involved over 100 highly trained agents all coordinated to entrap one target. It took a lot of manpower, logistics, coordination, but today it's a lot simpler. Everyone, including those in power, are just one click away on social media. This is where again up-and-coming politicians have an advantage. They're more likely to see your message on Twitter or Instagram and respond. And don't worry, if that doesn't work, America is a buffet of campaign rallies, political events, fundraisers, community get-togethers, business forums, where you can meet your ideal target and strike up a relationship. Then it's time for the arts of seduction.
I am afraid of the dark. Every human being is a puzzle of need. Learn how to be the missing piece, and they will give you everything.
Let's face it, human history has mostly been ruled by men of violence, brute strength. But there are some notable exceptions, with the greatest being Cleopatra of ancient Egypt. These women couldn't gain power through sheer violence and brute strength alone like the boys did. So how did they do it? By inventing and mastering the art of seduction. They learned how to best manipulate man's greatest weakness to their advantage. So that's what we have to do here. The first step is to identify what their deepest desire is. Maybe it's power, maybe it's dominance. Maybe they want someone to take care of and nurture. Maybe they want someone to dominate them. No judgments here. Everything afterwards in the seduction process all depends on this. Get it right and they'll be hypnotized by you, and it will be child's play to mislead and seduce them. Then in general, you'll want to draw the man in with an alluring appearance. Show them a few glimpses of the flesh, tease their imagination. Basically, you want to look like a goddess come to life. The goal is to not just make the man want the dirty acts, but you want to tease them with a rare opportunity to possess a fantasy figure. Once you have them under your spell, make their fantasies come true. You want to nurture their dependence on you and they'll instantly fall in love. Then, right when they're in the deepest possible state of love, when they're completely drunk on love, pull back, turn a cold shoulder to them, cease communication, neglect them emotionally. This will confuse the hell out of them. What did I do wrong? Everything was going so well, I gave her everything she wanted. Remember, these powerful, ambitious men are used to getting what they want. So when you make them go through withdrawal for you, when you hold back, when you play hard to get, they will come chasing, trying to win back the fantasy they once had. Growing weak, emotional, and desperate in the process. And boom, this powerful man with the intel and influence you need is now your slave. Figuratively speaking. which means they are ripe for extraction. In the Soviet Union days, a lot of the time when they entrap the victim, they simply reveal the trick and blackmail them right away. If you don't work with us, we'll expose the affair you had and ruin your marriage, career, get you fired, voted out of office. But remember, we're in this for the long run. It's much better for you to stay in the relationship with them without them ever even knowing. You can keep gathering intel on their habits, preferences, schedules, friends, work.
You know, the scheduler has money problems. The chief of staff has a drinking problem. These are important data points.
You can use your influence over them to sway their country on important China-related issues. After all, how could you support a measure that will hurt China if your significant other is Chinese?
Hoping to gain people's trust so that she could perhaps in the future help them change their mind on China policy.
And again, power is like real estate, you gotta stay close to the source. Now, in a perfect world, this is how it would play out. But if things don't work out between you and your significant other, you can use more desperate measures. See, traitors in the West hardly ever betray their country because yes, I definitely believe in Chinese re-education camps. No, most of the time it's not about ideology, it's about money or having fun in the bedroom. So if things don't work out, you can always bribe them with money, fundraising, favors, and so on. After the story of the Chinese swallow Christine Fang was released recently, former CIA officials said that there could be thousands of these Chinese agents in America. Now, are intelligence officials usually trustworthy? No, not one bit. On top of that, MI5 in the UK also sounded the alarm shortly after the story broke. They said it's almost a certainty that China has swallows operating in the UK. In 2011, France also warned that China was using beautiful female spies to steal their state secrets. And let's be honest, the US and other countries probably have their own swallows. And US officials have admitted to using such dirty tactics in the past. There's an old joke that most Westerners who have spent any time in Soviet Russia have their own tale of how a KGB swallow tried to seduce them. Apparently, swallows and ravens were a very common thing in the KGB's playbook, but for the most part, it was confined within the Soviet Union. So that begs the question, if China is already bigger and more powerful than the Soviets ever were, and it's already been exposed that they might have swallows operating all over the West, how deep does this hidden network of beautiful spies go? Time will tell, but what I do know is that you should check out Freshbooks. Freshbooks is a small business accounting software that lets you be more productive, organized, and get you paid faster. You can effortlessly log and organize all your expenses so you're always ready for tax season. You can accept credit cards to get you paid up to 11 days faster. You can wow your clients with professional-looking invoices that only take seconds to create. And you can even see when they've opened your invoice and left you unread. And on top of that, you can do all of this no matter where you're at thanks to their Android and iOS apps. So if you're a freelancer, self-employed, or a small business owner, you can try out FreshBooks for free for 30 days by going to jake.yt/freshbooks. Just enter Jake Trent in the How'd You Hear About Us section. That's jake.yt/freshbooks with the link below. So when this story broke a few weeks ago, I asked you guys on Instagram if you guys wanted to see a video on this, and it was total sarcasm. I had like no intention of making a video about this. But then like an overwhelming majority of people responded to that story, like more than any other video idea poll thing I've ever done. So here we are. So if you want to participate in future videos like this and get a behind the scenes look on stuff, follow me on Instagram at jaketrend.io because we have a ton of fun over there. Now again, videos like this are a little bit even more controversial. We're really stepping up the insanity for the end of 2020. So if you want more of them and to support this channel financially so we can make more of these videos, check out the brands that we talked about earlier in the video with the links in the video description. On the topic of being the end of 2020, it has been an insane year, not just for the world, but for the channel in general. Insane growth. It's been insane, and I can't thank you guys enough. Like seriously, each and every one of you guys that watches, likes, leaves a comment. I see the ones out there that like repeatedly comment on all my videos. Do you guys mean the world to me and have made all this possible? So thank you so much. I know it's like a super cheesy thing for YouTubers to say, but I truly mean it. Lots and lots of cool stuff planned out for 2021, so be sure to stick around because it's gonna be fun. If this is your first time on this channel, my name's Jake, obviously, and we make video essays like this on the most provocative stuff in the world of business, economics, power, money, crime, all of the above, every single week for free. So you should definitely subscribe and turn on the notification bell and join the email notification squad with the link in the video description. That is gonna wrap it up. Cheers to the end of 2020, which a lot of people complain that is the worst year ever, but there has been plenty of worse years in history. So I think it's important for us to keep things in perspective. But here is to 2021. Thank you so much for watching. You've been awesome. I've been Jake. Stay dangerous out there, and I will see you guys in the next one.